beneficiaries for consideration. The committee published an advertisement in the national dailies on Tuesday, 11th November 2025, seeking for a memorandum. The principal object of this bill is to establish a framework through which county governments can guarantee farmers a minimum return on their produce in order to cushion them against unpredictable market fluctuations. The bill is currently undergoing public participation, with the committee having resolved to undertake targeted stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the period under review, 9 statements were sought from the committee as follows. 1. Statements sought by Senator Professor Tom Ojienda regarding ongoing initiatives aimed at restoring degraded agricultural land in Kisumu County. Statements sought by Senator Professor Ojienda regarding death of fish in fish cages in Lake Victoria. Statements sought by Senator Alexander Mondigi, Dr. MP, regarding pest infestation threatening Muguka crop yields in Embu County. Statement sought by Senator Edwin Sifuna MP regarding lapse of the common market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA sugar safeguard regime. Statement sought by Senator James Murango, mbunge kuhusu mradi wa kiwanda cha kusindika nyanya eneo la Kangai County ya Kirinyaga. Statement sought by Senator James Murango, MP, regarding performance of Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, KALRO, in soil testing and analysis. Statement sought by James Murango, MP, Senator, regarding allocation and disbursement of the Commodities Fund for the clearance of coffee cooperative debt. Statement sought by Senator Eddie Okech, MP, regarding waiver of agricultural finance corporation loans owed by farmers in Migori who were affected by 2011-2014 drought. And statements sought by Senator Enoch Wambua, MP, regarding use of emergency funds by county governments to purchase seed for residents in arid and semi-arid ASAL counties. Mr. Speaker, sir, out of the 9 statements, 2 statements have been concluded as follows. Statements sought by Senator Mondigi, MP, Doctor, regarding pest infestation threatening Muguka crop yields in Embu County. Letter forwarding response shared with the Senator. B. Statements sought by Senator Edwin Sifuna, MP, regarding lapse of the common market of Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA sugar safeguard regime. Letter forwarding response shared with Senator. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the next quarter, the committee will prioritize the following legislative agenda. 1. Engagements with county governments on the implementation status of irrigation, agriculture, and food security projects undertaken by the respective counties. 2. Undertake inspection visit to assess progress on the Mwenche multipurpose dam project and the Galana Gulalu irrigation projects, accompanied by the Ministry Agriculture and Livestock Development, as well as water and irrigation respectively. 3. Commence the mediation on the MAGBIN Bill 2022, Senate Bill number 13 of 2022, and finally, undertake a retreat to deliberate on issues of concern raised on various bills with participation from targeted stakeholders, and further to consider and adopt the reports on the bills before the committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Senator David Wafula Wakoli, MP. Thank you.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Energy. That statement is deferred. The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A statement relating to the activities of Standing Committee of Finance and Budget, pursuant to Standing Order 56-1 for the period between 10th February and 30th April 2026. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B to make a statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee of Finance and Budget for the first quarter of the 5th session covering a period between 10th Feb and 30th April 26. During the period under review, the committee held 19 sittings, during which it processed and concluded 36 statements, considered 4 bills and 1 legislative proposal, and tabled 3 reports. Attached to this statement is a schedule of the legislative business considered by the committee and their status. Mr. Speaker, during the period under review, the committee processed and tabled reports on 1. The 2026 budget policy statement, where the committee recommended that the county equitable share for financial year 2026-2027 be approved at Kenya shillings 454.73 billion. 2. The 2026 medium-term debt management strategy, MTDS, and the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2026, the committee proposed that the schedule to the bill be amended to provide that the county equitable share for financial year 26-27 be Kenya shillings 454.73 billion. The committee also undertook joint county oversight engagements with the Standing Committee of Lands and Environment and Natural Resources to inspect projects funded by additional conditional allocation for financing locally led action, that is FLOCA, in the county of Kwale and Kilifi. The objective of the visit was to inspect, assess, and familiarize with the status of the implementation of the projects funded by FLOCA program. The committee also considered a legislative proposal on the PFM amendment bill. Mr. Speaker, as I proceed, in accordance with Article 118(2) of the Constitution and Senate standing orders, the committee held consultative meetings with National Treasury and Economic Planning, Commission of Revenue, Office of the Control of Budget, and the Council of Governors. The committee also engaged in other non-state actors in legislative business. These actors included County Assembly Forum, Institute of Certified Public Accounts of Kenya, ISPAC, Budget Hub, Institute of Public Finance, Institute of Economic Affairs. The committee sought public views on legislative businesses, including the 2026 BPS and MTDS, Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill 2025 of National Assembly 21 of 2026, and County Government's Additional Allocation Bill 2026 through advertisements in 2 national newspapers and other social media platforms, and that is actually what we were embarking on today. Number 9, Mr. Speaker, the committee followed and agreed mechanisms for processing statements, providing senators with responses as soon as they received from the relevant agency or county. The senator is required to indicate any issue that need clarification within 14 days, failure to which then the statement is considered concluded. And this one, Mr. Speaker, if you do a statement with the Committee of Finance, get a response. If you don't respond within 14 days, we assume, of course, that you are satisfied with the response from the relevant office. Number 9, Mr. Speaker, during the second quarter of the year, the committee is scheduled to, 1, process and table reports on the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, and the Public Procurement Asset Disposal Bill. The request by National Treasury and Economic Planning for approval of stoppage of funds to the county government of Meru, something that we've executed today, Mr. Speaker, and that has been stopped. Undertake county oversight engagements to inspect projects funded by the additional allocation for FLOCA and Equalization Fund in Kisumu, Vihiga, Embu, Kirinyaga, and Wajir counties. Thereafter, the committee will table a report on the visits for consideration by the House, and we urge the relevant senators elected in those regions to accompany the committee. Consider the control of budget report on the implementation of the county government's budget. Lastly, as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I wish to thank your office and the Office of the Clerk of the Senate for the continuous support accorded to the committee in its work in executing its mandate. Lastly, I wish to thank the members of the committee, the chairman of the committee, Ali Roba, Dr. Boni Halwale, Senator Faki, Senator Esi, Senator Mariam, Senator Onyonka, and Senator Eddy, and yours truly, for the commitment in executing its mandate. I thank you all. God bless.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B to make a statement related to the activities of the Standing Committee on Health for the first quarter on the 5th session covering the period between February and April 2026. During the period under review, the committee held 26 sittings, which it considers 2 bills, 1 petition, budget policy statements 2026, and follow up on the implementation status of one Senate resolution. During the same period, 21 statements were referred to the committee for considerations. In this period, the committee considered stakeholder submission on 2 bills that had been committed for considerations, considered and tabled in its report on the bill. These are the Assisted Reproductive Bill and Autism Management Bill. During the period under review, the committee also considered its considerations on the petition-related alleged discriminations, interference, and violation of the clinical officers' practice rights by the Ministry of Health, the Council of Governors, and the SHA laid its reports on the table of the Senate. The petition on the CUSO raised a question touching on the health system, labor relations, health workforce, governance, and access to service. In its report, the committee noted that the clinical officers are often the first and in many places only the point of contact for patients, especially in the rural and underserved areas, where they provide diagnosis, treatments, and minor surgical procedures and long-term disease management. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the period under review, the committee considered oversight visits in 5 counties, that is Lamu, Nakuru, Bungoma, Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Nandi. Mr. Speaker, sir, a specific objective of these visits are to assess the state and the quality of the infrastructure, facilities and hospital equipment, and provision of emergency service and automations of the healthcare provision system for the patients, drugs, commodity management, and availability of requisite healthcare personnel, the gaps and the challenges, if any, and the counties face in regard to healthcare workers, access the availability of the drugs and medical supplies in the healthcare facilities in the county. Mr. Speaker, the engagement involved visiting to the key health facility, direct interactions with the county leadership, healthcare workers, and the members of the public. Mr. Speaker, during the visit, the committee observed a chronic staff shortage and low staff morale and motivations. In relation to the infrastructure, the equipment, the safety, and many healthcare facilities exhibit significant infrastructural deteriorations, inadequate facilities, severe overcrowding. The medical equipment is often non-functional, breakdown, or lying idle due to lack of reagents or technical experts. Several counties have significant capital-intensive healthcare projects that have either installed or remain non-operational years after initiation. Another observation is that the counties routinely face supply shortages of essential drugs, reagents, consumables. While improvements in the KEMSA fill rates were noted in some areas, unmet supply needs, persistence, and facing patients to purchase a medicine privately. Accumulation of the expired drugs on the shelves and in store is widespread, indicating a poor stock management and inadequate disposal procedures. Health record management and inventory record system is heavily reliant on a sufficient manual paper-based process. Mr. Speaker, during the period of under review, 21 statements were committed to the committee for considerations. The committee sought reports on the issue, raised a statement from the relevant stakeholder. In this regard, the committee received 15 responses, which were submitted to the senators for their consideration. Subsequently, the committee has considered considered 8 statements, instances where their responses were found to be unsatisfactory and insufficient. The committee sought supplementary information and clarifications from the concerned stakeholders. During the second quarter, the committee will follow up on implementation status of the Senate resolution pursuant to provision of Standard Order 22284. The committee will also consider the reports on the cells, tissue, and organ transplant service in Kenya and operational reports of the SHA. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to thank your office, the Office of the Clerk, the Senate for continue supporting according to the committee to execute its mandates, and also wishes to thank the member of the committees for diligence and contribution to undertake the committee mandate. Thank you.
A statement pursuant to Standing Order 57-1, the Senate Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Statement by the Senate Majority Leader on the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 12th, 2026, pursuant to Standing Order 57-1. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 57-1, I hereby present the business for the week commencing Tuesday, 12th May, 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, the status of legislative business before the Senate is as follows. 1. 66 bills are pending conclusion, of which 49 are at second reading, 16 are at committee of the whole, and 1 awaiting first reading. 2. 17 motions are pending conclusion. 3. 17 petitions are pending conclusion by respective standing committees. Of these petitions, 15 are due for reporting. And finally, 515 statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 are under consideration by respective standing committees. Mr. Speaker, sir, as indicated in today's order paper, at orders number 8 to 14, there are several bills pending division at second reading, and at order number 15, the motion on the consideration of the report on the Mediation Committee on the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly, number 24 of 2023, is likewise awaiting division. I therefore implore upon honorable senators to remain in the chamber so that the pending divisions may be undertaken, and urge the party whips to ensure that the requisite number of county delegations are present to enable the Senate to dispense with the business. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the next sitting of the Senate on Tuesday, 12th May 2026, The tentative business for the day will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as business indicated in the notice paper. The tentative business for the morning sitting on Wednesday, 13th May 2026, will include questions to Cabinet Secretaries as approved by the Senate Business Committee, as well as motions. The questions scheduled include 1. Questions to the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy. Questions to Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. And question to the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Mr. Speaker, sir, the tentative business for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 13th May 2026, will include business not concluded on Tuesday's order paper and the following. Bills at second reading. 1. Agriculture and Food Authority Amendment Bill, Senate number 13, 2023. The County Government Senate Officers Removal from Office Procedure Bill, Senate Bills number 34 of 2024. The County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate number 39 of 2024. The Street Naming and Property Addressing System Bill, Senate number 43 of 2024. The County Government's Laws Amendment Bill, Senate number 52 of 2024. And the County Government Laws Amendment Bill, Senate number 14 of 2025. B. Bills at Committee of the Whole. 1. The Seed and Plant Varieties Amendment Bill, Senate number 4 of 2025. The Sport Amendment Bill, Senate number 33 of 2024. The Electronic Equipment Disposal, Recycling and Reuse Bill, Senate number 5 of 2025. The Bill Procurement and Asset Disposal, National Assembly Bill 48 of 2024. Motions. Report on the Standing Committee on Health of the County Oversight and Networking Engagement in Kitui, Makueni, Machakos counties. Report on the Standing Committee on Health on the County Oversight and Networking Engagements in Kiambu County. Report on the Standing Committee on Health on the County Oversight and Networking Engagements in Bungoma and Kakamega counties. Report on the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on Sessional Paper number 1 of 2025 on Foreign Policy of the Republic of Kenya. Number 8. The projected business for Thursday, 14th May 2026 will include business not concluded on the order paper for Wednesday, 13th May 2026, and any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, as honorable senators will recall, the Senate is scheduled to proceed on recess at the rise of the Senate on Thursday, 14th May 2026, in accordance with the Senate calendar. I therefore once again urge honorable senators, with business scheduled on the order paper and the program of the Senate business for next week, to be available in the Senate to prosecute the same. I thank you and hereby lay the statement on the table of the Senate. On behalf of Senator Aaron Cheriot, EGHMP, Senate Majority Leader. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Senators. I will allow comments on the statements that have been sought for a period not exceeding 15 minutes. So if you get an opportunity to speak, kindly do so for not more than 3 minutes. However, no comments shall be made on the statements that has been requested by Senator Abbas, because it has been established that that particular statement is in violation of Standing Order 54, and therefore the same is hereby expunged from the record until such a time that particular violation is cured. The Honorable Senator for Nairobi City County, Senator Sifuna. Senator Cheranke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, let me comment on one statement by the Senator, distinguished Senator of Marsabit. Mr. Speaker, we don't want to blame the rains, because there are so much rains for us farmers. We are happy that there is a lot of rains, there is a lot of food. So, Speaker, my only concern is on the issue of roads that he has raised. I think the Ministry of Roads and Transport was unfair, because if you look what the Ministry of Roads did, they only allocated over 8 billion to under Kura within Nairobi City County roads, Mr. Speaker, leaving other counties. And you know, under Kera budget, there is always emergency funds. And I know you have been served as Member of Parliament before. I don't know whether the Kera emergency funds, 40%, and even Senator Maanzo has already been there. So the question is, why would they allocate only Nairobi 8 billion, Mr. Speaker? And even they have gone ahead to put 5 billion within CBD roads, Jogo roads, and Soweto areas, Mr. Speaker. So I believe the Ministry of Roads and Transport must tell us what is happening, because we would have expected in this 8 billion that is allocated to Nairobi, at least each and every county should get at least some allocation for repair of roads, Mr. Speaker, while we empathize and sympathize with Kenyans, because we are told across the country for a couple of few days, 18 Kenyans have died. And we have seen even across the country. Remember, Iten Kabarnet Road was blocked because of heavy rains. There is a bridge in my county called Chebnoet Bridge, Mr. Speaker. There is one in Bonjoke in Aldai. There is another one, Mr. Speaker, in Tindred constituency, Mr. Speaker, in Nandi County. And I know it's virtually across many counties, Mr. Speaker. So we hope the Roads and Transport Committee will be able to tell us. Finally, secondly, Mr. Speaker, is there are many roads, Mr. Speaker, including your county, Kilifi, and across the country, even in Nandi, where contractors have been given contract. Would it be hard for the Ministry of Roads, through Kura, Kera, and Kena, who are the supervising agents, to ensure as the contractors do the roads, they maintain so that it becomes possible for the benefit of Kenyans that are using these roads, Mr. Speaker? And you saw even the case of Tana River. It is now flooding and people are moving because of heavy floods that we see in Tana River, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, finally, on the issue of health, the one on Agriculture Committee, Mr. Speaker, I had a question where I had requested that under the Crops Act of 2019, Mr. Speaker, all cereals must measure 90 kilograms, must measure 50 kilograms. But, Mr. Speaker, I brought, and I'm happy the Chair of Agriculture is there, that why is it that maize is measured at 50 kilograms, while potatoes, mung beans, Mr. Speaker, beans are measured at 50 kilograms. They are ripping off from maize farmers, Mr. Speaker, and I hope the Chair of Agriculture who is here should listen and address that matter, because it is affecting and demoralizing my maize farmers, Mr. Speaker, yet it is in the law. The National Cereals and Produce Board must and should buy maize at 50 kilos so that my maize farmers in Nandi, in Uasin and across the country can get opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Senator Maanzo.
Mr. Speaker, I equally arise to support Senator Chute. Mr. Speaker, recently Senator Chute took me and Senator Consolata to his county. And specifically, we, as a Committee of National Cohesion, we were going to help sort out some cohesive issues in the north, and especially with the border with Ethiopia. And Mr. Speaker, it took us over 12 hours to get to Moyale. But thank God and President Kibaki, he did the Moyale road. It used to take 4 days to get to Moyale from Nairobi. But any other place you have to leave the main road, Mr. Speaker, you cannot move. In fact, from Moyale to Mandera is 400 kilometers on a rough road with the rivers. And it tells me that if you go with a brand new car, and you have to carry 4 other new tires, because you are going to lose all your tires on the way. Mr. Speaker, bearing in mind that we have rolled a levy and that we are raising a lot of taxes from fuel, we should be able to grade roads and do roads in every single county of this nation, Mr. Speaker. The situation in Marsabit is very wanting, and Mr. Speaker, it's a county blessed with a lot of, resources, Mr. Speaker. We have places you can do new towns. We have places you can, do animals and even slaughter them there, and even, because of being halal, send them to Middle East very easily using cargo planes. The nation has not invested in northern Kenya, and I think it should begin with the roads. That is where it pains most, so that the people in that area can have access. The communities live far and wide. They are very hard to reach, and I think it's a high time now we made equal opportunity for this nation, Mr. Speaker. It is not only Marsabit County suffering. Makueni County also got a very little allocation even to do the roads which belong to the county. And after the rains, almost every county in the Republic, Mr. Speaker, has a challenge with feeder roads, with roads where you can transport food produce, where you can transport animals for those who rear animals. Mr. Speaker, I believe that the committee dealing with roads should really take this matter seriously so that we have equal distribution of resources in the Republic. I thank you and I support.
Senator Kinyua.
Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Nataka kuchangia taarifa iliyoletwa na Senator Boni Halwale kuhusu umiliki wa ardhi, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kamati inayohusika ambayo inaongozwa na Senator wa Mombasa, Senator Faki, wanapaswa washughulikie hili jambo kwa sababu umiliki wa ardhi katika Jamhuri ya Kenya, kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa zile hati miliki za ardhi, unapata kuwa na migogoro, unapata hata mauaji yanatokea, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa hizi hati miliki. Kwa hivyo kamati inapaswa wafuatilie kabisa, na hasa hii tume ya kitaifa ya ardhi waweze kutoa mwongozo dhabiti, kujulikane kwamba ni nani mwenye shamba, ana shamba kiasi kipi, ndio kuache kuwa na huu mgogoro ambao unapata na hawa wakora wanaingilia katikati na wanaanza kunyakua mashamba ya watu, Bwana Spika. Na hilo ndilo jambo ambalo linasumbua. Ukienda Laikipia, mheshimiwa, mahali kunaitwa Dhome, shida ni hii, watu hawana hati miliki za mashamba. Kwa hivyo hawa wafanyi biashara walagai wanaingilia kati na kuchukua zile shamba na kuleta vita. Si Dhome peke yake, Bwana Spika, ukienda mahali kunaitwa Kairigere na hata mahali kunaitwa Matanya, shida ni hii Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo hii shida ya mashamba iko sehemu nyingi ya Jamhuri ya Kenya. Bwana Spika, katika taarifa iliyoletwa na Senator Chute, mambo ya barabara, Bwana Spika, nakubali kabisa kwamba mvua ni baraka, lakini vile vile haya maafa yanayoletwa na mvua, unapata barabara zetu ziko katika hali mbovu kabisa, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu ya vile wanakandarasi wanavyotengeneza barabara zetu na kutoweka ile mitaro ya kuondoa maji, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ukitembelea mahali kutoka mahali kunaitwa Narumoro kuenda Ramuria, uende mpaka Makutano, barabara imeharibika kabisa na imeharibiwa na mvua, Bwana Spika. Vile vile ukienda mahali kutoka na Nyuki uende Mutara, uende mpaka Rumuruti, na vile vile uende mpaka mahali kunaitwa kwa Kungu, hali ni ile Bwana Spika. Lakini la kushangaza zaidi, Bwana Spika, ni hawa wanakandarasi ambao wanapewa kutengeneza barabara. Wanakuja wanachimba barabara, baada ya kuchimba barabara basi wanasema hawajalipwa. Kwa hivyo wanawacha barabara zetu zikiwa katika hali duni, mashimo chungu nzima, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo vile tungelitaka ni kama mtu hataweza kufanya chochote, awachane na barabara, badala ya kwenda kuchimba mashimo. Unapata watu wanakuja wanagonga yale mashimo ukiwa unaendesha gari, alafu kunakuwa na mikasa barabarani, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo kamati ambayo inahusika tungewarai wafuatilie haya mambo, ndio wanakandarasi ambao wanalegea katika kazi zao waweze kuchukuliwa
Senator Esi Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to support the statement by Senator Abbas on the status of the recruitment exercise at the Kenya Ports Authority. Mr. Speaker, I have received Oh, it's been dropped. That's what I wanted to comment on, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Well expunged the little comments that you've made on the same. Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement by Senator Chute. Indeed, the issue of roads and infrastructure development across the country cannot be overemphasized. It is indeed, Mr. Speaker, as has been mentioned, that the distribution of the road construction in Kenya has been very, very skewed. And this, Mr. Speaker, I'll say with the special emphasis of the 52% of my county, which happens to be semi-arid, Mr. Speaker. And we see that during the rainy season, despite that being a food basket potential, the roads are impassable and the farmers are left, Mr. Speaker, with their food and they're not able to access the market. Mr. Speaker, if we came up with a different formula of how to implement this road, if we came up with new definition of what a contractor should be able to undertake, and I want to support what Senator Kenywa has said, some of the contractors, Mr. Speaker, who are given the roads are forced to undercut the contracts, and in the process of doing the work, they compromise the quality of the work, Mr. Speaker. And I'm speaking, Mr. Speaker, with a lot of pain because some of the roads that have been specifically done in Kieni constituency, which makes 52% of Nyeri, including the road that Senator Kenywa has mentioned, the one from Narumoro, Kiawara, all the way, Mr. Speaker. The road, which has been done a couple of years ago, it's no more. The cost of maintaining that road, Mr. Speaker, is going to be far much higher than the initial cost of construction. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is called upon us, Mr. Speaker, to relook at how we evaluate the contractors. We relook at, Mr. Speaker, the contractors who we award these contracts. And most important, Mr. Speaker, we must remit the political interference from the leadership because of some of an ethical practices, they end up pushing the contractors to the edge so that the contractors are forced to compromise the quality of the road, Mr. Speaker. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, it is also very important to mention that we saw, for the first time in the history of this country, the northwestern region, which has been marginalized by all successful governments, have now gotten a 710 kilometers long road, Mr. Speaker, which is going to open up the potential in that area, Mr. Speaker. But as we're doing that, Mr. Speaker, let it also not be lost to us that some areas still remain marginalized, and the contractors and the ministry must come up with a methodology that will ensure that once we do a load, we do not do the road volume, we do proper roads that will be able to withstand the weather conditions, roads that will be able to withstand the conditions in those areas. I support, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the statement first by Senator Chute on the maintenance of roads in his county, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, why we have a road maintenance levy in every liter of fuel that we buy from the pump, Mr. Speaker, is so that we can be able to maintain our roads. Because it is not enough to build roads. Roads, once built, must be able to be maintained in order for them to continue giving services. And Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this because there is a road also that affects my county, a road 12 kilometers, opened during the reign of the late President Moi in 1988, a dual carriageway connecting Thika to a town called Kenol. We have not seen, since 1988, 38 years ago, or for some 38 years, we have not seen, potholes in that particular road. And they are now there, because any time that road, Mr. Speaker, gets damaged, there is recapping. That is not happening, and we must call upon the Minister of Roads to maintain roads, because maintenance is what must be done besides making of new roads, Mr. Speaker. Allow me also, Mr. Speaker, to comment on the statement by Senator Boni Halwale on public land that he is seeking to see to it that the ownership of the same is established, and that there is an institution sitting, on a part of that particular land, Mr. Speaker. We must protect public land wherever it is, Mr. Speaker, because if we want to have future development, Mr. Speaker, and public utilities, expansion of public utilities, we must have land on which we will do that. Mr. Speaker, it will be remembered that not long ago, a part of Langata Road Primary School playfield had been grabbed by a neighboring hotel, Mr. Speaker. And this is a culture, this is a cancer that we must cure. That institutions, hotels, private investors and everybody must keep public land away from their plans, Mr. Speaker. So I want to support that land that belongs to the public in Kakamega, where a school is sitting. If the school is sitting on public land, then something must be done so that the same goes back to the public. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Senator Mwenda Gataya.
Thank you, Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I wish to support the statement by Honourable Chute on the state of roads in this country. Honourable Speaker, I don't know for what reasons that we have not been having equal distribution of roads. There's no roads, Honourable Speaker, is a very critical component in terms of development. Honourable Speaker, I come from Tharaka-Nithi County. Tharaka-Nithi County, Honourable Speaker, some parts have been seriously neglected. There is a road which from Chakariga to Marimanti, which is linked some very key institutions. Tharaka University, Tharaka South Citizen Headquarters, name them. All the big institutions in Tharaka constituency, Honourable Speaker. That road was, I think it was launched around 2013, 2015, up to now. Even the part that road the part which was already made has already started peeling off. Honourable Speaker, if you look at the road from Mponi to Nkondi, which is all the way to the Tharaka University, it's now impassable, especially during these rain seasons. There are all parts of the Tharaka constituency, the parts of Gatonga, the parts of Galangachieni. There is not things that, Honourable Speaker, that one cannot imagine that we are living in the same country. So, Honourable Speaker, it's a matter that the ministry should move with a lot of speed and make sure that every part of the country, every part of this country, Honourable Speaker, enjoys good infrastructure, because roads are a critical component in terms of development, Honourable Speaker. So I want to agree with Senator Chute, not only in Marsabit, which has been neglected. There we have some serious part of this country that does not enjoy any good infrastructure in terms of roads, Honourable Speaker. It's an issue that should be looked at very critically by the ministry, and it's high time, Honourable Speaker, that the people who are supposed to make sure that people get good roads, even the contractors who are supposed to be on the side, Honourable Speaker, should be paid on time so that maybe they can complete the roads that are already initiated, Honourable Speaker. In that arrangement, Honourable Speaker, I support the statement by Honourable Chute.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I would like to contribute the statement by Senator Boni Kalwale. Honourable Speaker, public utilities are set aside for a specific cause, and it is becoming an alarming situation in our counties, Honourable Speaker, because public utilities are increasingly being leased out regardless of the purpose that was being set aside for. I therefore want to agree with Senator Monica Lwale and support this statement that the ownership of that land needs to be ascertained, and we need to ask our county governments not to abuse the powers that they have been given in collusion with officers from the National Land Commission who are based in the counties, Honourable Speaker, and begin allocating land while backdating documents, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, we have witnessed situations where, and you know we are fortunate, Honourable Speaker, the longevity of life in this country, the average lifespan is around 70 years. You find a number of former county council clerks, former county council treasurers, former county council chairmen and municipal chairmen, Honourable Speaker, and former chairs of planning committees of municipalities are still around with us. They are no longer in office, but they are signing documents, Honourable Speaker. And that is why you would find land like this one in Kakamega would easily change hands. And when you check at the documentation and the signatures, they are verifiable. However, the period in which it is being signed is not the period that was supposed to have been signed, Honourable Speaker, and therefore creating a loss of public utilities that would have been otherwise utilized for public good. Honourable Speaker, allow me also to comment on the issue of roads, statement by Senator Chute, and on the roads maintenance levy. Honourable Speaker, I also want to encourage counties. There are a number of county roads that transcend sub-counties and counties, Honourable Speaker. There is need for those counties to sit with the road agencies and classify those roads so that they are properly classified and transferred to care, Honourable Speaker, so that national government can maintain. If you look at the distribution of roads between national and county governments, Honourable Speaker, you'll find there are more kilometers of roads in our counties compared to the number of kilometers of roads that has been set aside for maintenance by Kera, Kura, or Kena, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, counties need also to check and reclassify the roads so that the appropriate agencies can take them up, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I sympathize with my friend Senator Mwenda Gadhaya of Tharaka-Nithi when he says that the roads in those places are neglected. And it tends to encourage me that, Honorable Speaker, the theory and the narrative of Mount Kenya seems there is a difference between Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West.
Now, honorable senators, allow me to rearrange today's order paper. We will move to order number 17 and thereafter resume the normal flow of today's order paper. Clerk, kindly proceed to call that order.
Order number 17, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bills number 21 of 2025, resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 6th May 2026, afternoon sitting, second reading.
Now, honorable senators, before I call upon those who wish to speak on this particular bill, allow me to make this communication. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of a visiting delegation of 5 teachers and 6 students from MP Shah Chania Girls School in Kiambu County. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. I will call upon Senator Crystal Asige under 1 minute to extend the word of welcome.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to greet and welcome the group from Chania Girls High School to the Senate. Speaker, this, of course, is something that we do every single week, week in, week out, where we have young people from across the country, from different walks of life, coming to visit the Senate and to understand and experience what it is that we do here. Senate, as they may be aware by now, is mandated to protect the interests of counties. So their county as well, we take care of what comes, especially funding that comes to your county. So we are happy that you are here to experience and to see firsthand what we do here, how we debate, how we fight for the rights of all counties across the country, Speaker. And of course, as a young legislator myself, I'm particularly pleased whenever I am aware that young people, young girls, are also in the Senate, just like I am. Speaker, my story is very long. I will hopefully tell it to them one day when I meet them in the streets of Kenya, wherever that may be. But I want to encourage them, just like I have done with any young person that I meet, especially young girls, especially those with disabilities even, that you can absolutely get here if you so wish. If you put your mind to it, if you create the right environment for yourself to achieve and to continue to believe in yourself, just like me, even though I have a disability, I made it to the Senate. And if I have a disability and I made it to the Senate, you absolutely can as well. I continue to extend on behalf of the Senate a welcome to you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the afternoon with us. I thank you.
Now, honorable senators, when debate was interrupted yesterday, Senator Consolata had the floor with a balance of 14 minutes. You may continue, honorable senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the additional time. Although I had almost completed or concluded my submission, but I had a few points because we were questioning about the absorption of this equalization fund that was meant to stabilize or improve on the quality of life of the people who come from marginalized communities. I was majorly focused on Bungoma County and specifically Mount Elgon, which has the allocation for the funds, but we are shocked to learn that these funds have not actually been absorbed or they have not been allocated. Reason being there was no submission of the project proposals. So I was wondering how a county of repute like Bungoma County can miss out on submitting proposals or project proposals when we have got so many youths in Bungoma County who are using digital spaces to look for jobs. Maybe if our county could task the youths to do some project proposals in regard to the marginalized areas, then this money would not be returned to the National Treasury. Instead, it could have been used to assist people from marginalized communities. The cases in point were areas in Mount Elgon, like Kaptama, Kopsiro, Chepiuk, Sambocho, Kapkirong, Chongeyo, Koshok, and other areas in Mount Elgon. You find that most social amenities in Mount Elgon are pathetic. For instance, the road infrastructure in Mount Elgon is wanting, yet Mount Elgon happens to be a major food basket for Bungoma County. So I really want to reiterate the point that our leaders and the concerned authorities. Mr. Speaker, I seek for your protection from the Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, you ought to be protecting the member, not...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the protection. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that protection. So echoing the points that were given by other senators in regard to their specific counties that required the equalization fund. So Mount Elgon has got a very poor road network, and it could be ideal if the authorities really maximized on that and did the relevant project proposals in order to get that money so that it can improve on the social amenities. It is a little bit weird to see women trekking to fetch water from very far places, looking for water, maybe to water their livestock and do irrigation, and maybe even for domestic use. And if you look at the health facilities, they are also pathetic. In some areas, we just have buildings, but they are not well equipped. There is no human capital in those hospitals. And this, as a mother, will always affect maternal and infant health care. And I'm calling upon the authorities to check on that. I want to stop there and still make a clarion call to Bungoma County leadership that let us all have a concerted effort to make project proposals that will yield some fruits and good health or quality services to the people of Bungoma. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that opportunity.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would want to make my contribution on this equalization fund bill, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, my attention has been drawn in the allocation of the funds, Honorable Speaker. Looking at some counties that are fairly heavily marginalized, Honorable Speaker, and looking at the resource allocation, and we would like CRA to relook into the formula of allocating these resources, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you look at a county like Elgeyo Marakwet County, Honorable Speaker, the total allocation is 87 million, Honorable Speaker. And Marakwet West has been allocated only 9 million. Marakwet East has been allocated 87 million. Keyo South has been allocated 9 million. Considering that Elgeyo Marakwet County is among the counties that receive the least revenue. In fact, it is among the 10 counties that this Honorable House made a decision to allow for some affirmative action in the revenue sharing, Honorable Speaker, in order to allow those counties to have some semblance of equitable resources to develop their counties. If you look at a county like Elgeyo Marakwet, Honorable Speaker, to do a kilometer of road, just a simple all-weather road, Honorable Speaker, you would require close to 5 million per kilometer. If you go to a place like Uasin Gishu, you require 1.5 million, Honorable Speaker. When I look at the way these resources have been allocated, there is skewedness in the allocation of resources, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when you go to Narok County, for example, Honorable Speaker, you find the allocation in Narok County, Honorable Speaker, particularly the allocation to Emurua Digir constituency, Honorable Speaker, the allocation is so skewed if you compare to the allocation to the other constituencies within Narok County, Honorable Speaker. If you look at, for example, Kilgore's constituency, which is just a neighboring constituency, they share the same geographical area, the same types of soils, population, almost population. Kilgore's constituency receives 350 million, whereas Emurua Digir constituency receives a paltry 36 million. When you look at Narok East, it receives 148 million. When you look at Narok North, it receives 246 million. When you look at Narok South, it receives 278 million. When you look at Narok West, it receives 195. That kind of disparity, Honorable Speaker, in a county cannot be explained. The demarcation of our counties, the elimination of boundaries, Honorable Speaker, considered so many factors, including geographical area, population, and so forth. I want to request that the Commission for Revenue Allocation reconsiders the formula they are using to allocate these resources, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the counties that have been receiving the largest share of our equitable revenue, in the Equalization Fund, Honorable Speaker, they have continued to receive additional resources. If this fund is going to continue, Honorable Speaker, then we might need to review the basis of allocation and consideration for Equalization Fund, putting into consideration the efforts the national government has done in improvement of infrastructure, Honorable Speaker. If you look at counties like Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, in the past they didn't have any roads, but you can see the effort national government is putting. A number of roads now are being tarmacked in those regions, and therefore the formula should be reviewed to reflect the current situation, Honorable Speaker. Finally, Honorable Speaker, let me say, ever since these funds were taken to counties, and I know this Honorable House to put a spirited fight to ensure that these funds go to counties, Honorable Speaker, it is quite unfortunate that the impact of these funds have not been felt in our counties, Honorable Speaker, and therefore we want to ask our governors and our county assemblies to make sure that these funds are used for the intended purpose, and we must receive value for money, and we must feel the impact of these additional resources to the counties, Honorable Speaker. An additional allocation of 16.8 billion is not a small allocation. We therefore expect our counties to be able to utilize this money better and make sure that the citizens of our counties, Honorable Speaker, receive the necessary services. If you go to a county like Tarakanidi, where my friend Mwenda Gataya, you have just heard him speak about the state of the roads in that county, they are receiving a total of 71 million, Honorable Speaker. CRA is not doing justice, particularly to the 10 counties that, as a Senate, we deemed it fit to have an affirmative action to increase their resources. Consequently, in this Equalization Fund, Honorable Speaker, CRA must also consider an affirmative action towards the 10 bottom counties and ensure they receive additional resources to be able to bring them up so that this country can equitably be developed. I submit.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this bill. Honorable Speaker, the reason why Equalization Fund was set up under the new constitution, Honorable Speaker, was to ensure that those particular counties or sublocations that CRA has classified that in terms of development are still below, requires to be given an affirmative action so that they can catch up with the rest of the country, Honorable Speaker. I want to note that it's unfortunate that CRA is still using, still using the second policy that was approved in 2018. And if you check, Honorable Speaker, Elgeyo-Marakwet County is really still very low. What the allocation that we have been given, just about 105 million. And Elgeyo-Marakwet County is one of the 12 marginalized counties that are getting share of revenue that is below 6 billion. And you know, the reason why for this particular equalization fund, Honorable Speaker, is to ensure we have affirmative action. We ensure those counties that are still below in terms of development are farmed up so that they can catch up with the rest of the country. You will realize some of the counties that are getting even more than 10 billion in share of revenue, Honorable Speaker, are still getting billions on equalization fund. I'm surprised how it's like CRA is in another world. They are not living in Kenya, Honorable Speaker, because it's unfortunate. They are marginalizing, they are continuing to marginalize some of us, Honorable Speaker. And this, when they are looking at the third, they need to start on the third basis or the policy, Honorable Speaker. They need to do proper public participation so that some counties like Elgeyo-Marakwet County, Baringo, West Pokot, and the others can be taken care of. In fact, as Senator Mandago said, when we went to Narok for the burial of our colleague, late Joanna Ngeno, the road from Chebole all the way to Emurua Digri, it's like, no, the road doesn't look like you are in Kenya, Honorable Speaker. And what they are getting is basically very low. They need to sit down, look at this policy, and come up with different parameters so that they can assist the people. One of the other issues, Honorable Speaker, that you may have noticed here, out of the 16 billion that we're talking about, basically the new allocation is about 10 billion. The rest is area, so it means the money has not been utilized. And the reason why it is there, it is because to help. And these resources are supposed to be released early so that the counties can access the resources, help the people to get water. We do roads, we do electricity. So, yeah, Honorable Speaker, they need to fast track quickly so that the areas can be released, and then the regular current resources that are allocated are given in time, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, will be championing and pushing to ensure that the 12 marginalized counties, you know, this house, thanks a lot, this house, they gave us about 4.46 billion to share, which basically every county was shared equally, getting 374 million every financial year for the next 5 years. But this equalization fund, Honorable Speaker, if it is not working, because it looks like there is also conflict between the two houses, who wants to implement? Members of National Assembly, they want to implement it. There is governors, they want to implement, to get the resources and do the implementation. The executive also, Honorable Speaker, want to implement this particular thing. So maybe what we can do is to scrap this. We have the 0.5, and we ensure we give it to the 12 counties so that these 12 counties can catch up, Honorable Speaker, in terms of development. Yeah. Yes, I know the Vice Chair Finance, I don't know what interest she has, because even our own county, Kitui, Honorable, yeah. So I don't want you to lose your vote because of... Yes, sir.
You know you are so registered, so don't engage Senator Mutinda on the throne.
Sorry. You know, she was smiling and dancing, so I got distracted.
You know, while contributing, just focus to the speaker.
I'll focus on you.
You'll be disrupted if you focus
I'll focus on you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Senator Mutinda, what is your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, Mr. Speaker, when I'm in chamber, I concentrate with my work and my assignment. When Honorable, a ranking member, would say that I am dancing, Is it in order, Mr. Speaker, for the honorable senator to mislead the House about another honorable senator who humbly knows her work, who is focused and disciplined in what I say? So I would request and kindly for him to withdraw and apologize.
The only issue, the only problem that you have, Senator Mutinda, is that you trying to engage Senator Kisang when he was also contributing. So that is why also he focused on you. Maybe, I don't know, you know, I was not really looking at you to know whether you are dancing or not, but maybe Senator Kisang can confirm himself what he saw. Senator Kisang?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are several sub-locations in Elgeyo Marakwet County, especially.
Senator Mutinda has raised. Maybe you can clear concerns.
No, that's okay. Actually, I withdraw. She was not dancing. She was twisting her head. I don't know, signaling to Jaraga or not me. So, Honorable Speaker, all of the trench of Keria Valley from Liter in Marakwet East all the way to Kocholwo in Keyo South, all that belt,
yes,
we
Senator
have...
Chalagay, just a minute, Senator Kisang. Let's get the point of order from Senator Chalagay.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order understanding order 105 on accuracy of facts? And there are only 3 forms of communicating in this house. You either use English, Kiswahili, and sign language. For Senator Kisang, my brother, to say Senator Mutinda was twisting her head, giving me signal. Is that accuracy of facts? In fact, I didn't see Senator Mutinda doing that. Yeah, she has been consulting with Senator Amida. Can you withdraw and apologize so that it is not misinterpreted that we are giving unwarranted gestures on the floor of the House, Mr. Speaker? I don't know why Senator Kisang today is overly excited. He's always a calm man. I don't know why. Maybe he ate something that we don't eat.
Senator
Or Mirage juice. Or Ritakan Mirage juice that you had proposed.
Senator Chalagay, okay, I'll give you Senator Yasige. But Senator Chalagay, you know myself, I recused myself from that issue between the eyes, Senator Kisang's eyes and Senator Mutinda's eyes. So the way they look at one another, you know, you can never know. Also, I'm wondering whether also you are also focusing on Senator Mutinda, that you did not see her and dance. So because I ruled on that matter, Senator, so Senator Chalagay, I ruled on that matter, and Senator Kisang also give his opinion. I don't know why, Senator Chalagay, you are taking us back. Because we concluded on that matter, and Senator Kisang, proceed.
Maybe, you know, Chair, I had cleared there, and then I said I apologize. So, you know, Cherargay loves interruptions. So, Honorable Speaker, so that I can also finish, you know, they are eating my time. Honorable Speaker, I was saying the whole of stretch from Liter in Elgeyo Marakwet County, Marakwet East, all the way coming to Marakwet West, going to Keyo North and Keyo South, the whole of Keria Valley is basically an hardship area. And I expected CRA to include all our sub-locations along Keria Valley of Elgeyo Marakwet County from Kocholo.
Senator Kisang, just a minute. I want to be very fair to Senator Christo Asige. What is your point of order, Senator Asige?
Thank you very much, Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to raise this. It's similarly on 105, Speaker. Speaker, it may sound like it is a light-hearted issue that has been raised here about the comments that Senator Kisang made to a colleague, female senator. However, Speaker, as you know, us as women, we are judged much more harshly than the public, by the public when in public service, Speaker, when in any form of leadership. So when there is a comment that is made off of the cuff or off the handle that is characterizing a female senator as just sitting in chambers, smiling, dancing, twisting her neck, causing any kind of distraction, then, Speaker, that actually falls on the rest of us as female leaders. We are all painted with a broad stroke. And then you'll see, Speaker, very soon online, people saying, look at what senators in the Republic of Kenya are doing, the female senators. They're just sitting in Senate, smiling, dancing, twisting their neck, and distracting other members from the order of the business that is being transacted. So, Speaker, it's actually a very serious issue, and I hope you, being a champion of women, and very inclusive and very sober in your judgment, Speaker, that you would request Senator Kisang to respectfully and just honorably just withdraw and apologize so that we can carry on and not have this mischaracterization continue out in the public. I thank you.
Speaker, to save time, I withdraw.
Senator Kisang.
Yes.
Senator Kisang, just a minute.
Okay.
Just a minute.
All right.
This is a matter that really has elicited a lot of interest and emotions. But Senator Chelagay, avoid giving me the ones that I should use. Because you have just tested me, and I've used you the ones coming from your mouth. I want to give my colleague here, Senator Mandago, he has a point of order as an elder. You know, just the other day, one of the chairs said there is no place for orders, but Senator Mandago, what is your point of order?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My point of order is on that matter, Honorable Speaker. There is a tendency that is growing in the House. When members are asked to apologize and withdraw, they meander around and try to avoid. I think we should just be as direct and as blank in our apology and withdrawal so that the House can act in some other order. Senator Kisang withdrew, apologized, then added another twist into the statement. So I think we should just stick, when the Speaker rules that you withdraw and apologize, you simply withdraw and apologize so that the House can, the House can progress, and we should not be lost on the Senate that this is the House that the people of Kenya look up to when serious matters needs to be canvassed. We cannot afford to lower the threshold of this House, Honorable Speaker. As an upper house, you know the high school is closed. They are not around, so they should. Honorable Speaker, we need to do that. Thank you.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker, especially for your being fair to both genders. Because as you refer to the Senator Mandago as an elder, you are cognizant to the fact that there are also women elders. And I'm one of them in my community. I want to re-emphasize what Senator Asige has said, and taking from reports we have had in the past, not only on women in parliament, but women generally, on reporting about us, Honorable Speaker. I also ask the ranking member, Senator Kisang, who I know is equally one of our mature senators, that the best you can do is to just withdraw all that line and use better words. I'm an English teacher, and if you lack words to use, I could add on to the words that would be useful and parliamentary to you. Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Senator Minda Kiwana.
DS, I think I heard you commenting on something, and I think it also added some from an insult. I mean, more or less, you know, from more to the frank fire, or to the frank fire. What did they say it? From the pan to the frank fire. Bonadies, you commented on something saying that Senator Chesang, you don't know what was, you know, the in between, the communication between Senator Mutinda and Senator Chesang. Yet there's actually nothing Kisang, sorry, and there's nothing between them. I mean, it was just mutual, that, you know, discussion. So you added something that of course motivated Senator Kisang, to feel more protected. So I want you also, Bonadias, if you can withdraw what you said about Senator Mutinda. Thank you.
Senator Kisang, you know, if even we go back to the answer, Senator Kisang really apologized, actually now twice. But you know, his apologies maybe was not very, very firm. Maybe Senator Kisang, can you now really apologize to the great leaders who are here so that we can make progress?
Good. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as husband of one wife and two daughters, I want to apologize and withdraw and apologize.
Thank you. Very well. Proceed and conclude, Senator Kisang.
Good. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was saying, you know, Elgeyo Marakwet County, the stretch along Keria Valley from Kocholo all the way to Little in Marakwet East, Honorable Speaker, is basically classified as an hardship area. And I wonder why CRA has not picked all the sublocations of the Keria Valley of Elgeyo Marakwet County to be included as part of those to benefit from equalization fund. We continue to serve, Honorable Speaker. Thank God the government of Dr. William Samoei Ruto came in, and the banditry that was there in the past has now been stopped completely, and our people have gone back to work, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are even other menaces that has messed up the people of Elgeyo Marakwet County, Honorable Speaker. We have elephants. We have a national game reserve, Honorable Speaker, and it has destroyed crops, mangoes, oranges, pixies, Honorable Speaker, and this is the same area where CRA is not seeing and considering and classifying to benefit from this equalization fund, Honorable Speaker. So that's why I was saying we need to push CRA to come up with the next third policy on equalization fund, Honorable Speaker, so that majority of the 12 counties that are getting less than 6 billion on shareable revenue get more resources. In fact, I was saying what brought issues, Honorable Speaker, is what I said, the 10.6 billion, maybe we need to add with the 4.46 billion to make it about 15 billion, and let this 15 billion, Honorable Speaker, be shared by the 12 counties, so that at least each county can get close to about 1.2 billion. And then we can have resources that we can do proper development, Honorable Speaker. You can imagine, Honorable Speaker, some counties are using 3 billion to feed children with borage. While in Elgeyo Marakwet County, we have less than 1 billion to do roads, to supply water to our people, to do ECD classes. Honorable Speaker, it's not fair. That's why I was saying in the past, Honorable Speaker, if we are not very careful, there'll be some counties that will look like at the level of Kenya 4 years ago, and the others will be like Singapore, will be like Malaysia, Honorable Speaker. So it is good to sit down as a country. We need to rethink this thing so that everybody else gets an equitable resources instead of continuing to marginalize other counties. In fact, Honorable Speaker, we also want to ask those who are implementing these particular projects on equalization fund, Honorable Speaker. There has been a lot of cry, Honorable Speaker, that they are delayed. Some of the projects are started, they are not completed. So Kenyans are not getting value for money from these equalization fund resources, Honorable Speaker. That's why maybe the best thing to do, we get rid of it. I know we extended the time. It was supposed to be 10 years. It was moved to 20 years. Maybe it is time to rethink about it and increase the percentage that is going to shareable so that the rest of the counties can benefit more, Honorable Speaker. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support, and we ask colleagues, let us support, but we need CRA to come up with another policy on equalization fund that will benefit the real marginalized counties. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, Senator Joyce Korir.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank the Committee on Finance for the job well done. This is one of the most active committee in the Senate. Bearing in mind, Honorable Speaker, they are the ones who are assisting us in making sure that our counties get these resources, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that I must thank the Chair, Ali Roba, and the Vice Chair and the entire committee. I've been a member of that committee at some point, and I know that they burn their midnight oil doing these reports, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, a number of issues has been raised by the members of this House. But my concerns, Honorable Speaker, is the formula that is being used by the CRA to arrive at this. My problem are the beneficiaries, the counties that are benefiting from this equalization fund, Honorable Speaker. My problem is the projects that are entailed to be used in terms of making sure that these counties benefit. And when you go to these counties, Honorable Speaker, you still find the same challenges. And the biggest reason is because of the remittance by the relevant board. Honorable Speaker, I want to challenge the board, despite the fact that the national government has established this and they have been given the resources. The challenge that the counties are facing is the remittance, which has also slowed down the service delivery in these counties. Not only that, Speaker, I raise the issue of these counties which were identified. When you try to look at it, I can term it, Honorable Speaker, that some of these counties were identified politically and not based on the facts that was raised by the relevant authority. By so saying, it is high time for this House to relook at this, to redefine the policies that made to the establishment of this equalization fund. Honorable Speaker, the only time we will see real development and real change is when we do things, not because we come from those particular regions, not because we come from those committees, not because we know so and so, but based on the facts in the ground. That is the only time this country will realize the real change that we are talking about. That is the time when these people or the residents of this country will really see the issue or the movement that the Kenyans have been talking about, that we are moving to Singapore. But the moment we do things, identifying the counties, maybe because you are sitting in that particular committee, or because you have some upper hands in terms of doing this, to an extent that we cannot actualize the intended purpose of these resources, then we are putting our country in a total mess. We are not setting any precedents at all. Honorable Speaker, I want to be part of the Senate that will be doing things the right way, that will be looking at those counties that are really lacking water, roads, despite the fact that we have the resources that have been sent to the county governments. The reason why we have the equalization fund was to support them in terms of getting these amenities, Honorable Speaker. So I would want to challenge that despite the fact that we have a huge pending bill on equalization fund that is supposed to move to these counties, I will still challenge the relevant board and the relevant committee to make sure that they relook at this, especially the committee on devolution, together with the committee on finance, so that we don't do things politically. I believe this is a house of rules and procedures. I believe this is a house that is supposed to put things in order. I believe this is a house that is in between the national government and the county government. I believe this is the only house that can rescue this nation in making sure that what is meant for the county government is given to the county government, and what is meant to the national government is given to the national government. There will be no need, Honorable Speaker, for us to be discussing issues or statutory instruments like Intergovernmental Act, if at all the monies or the ones that are already existing are not implemented to the letter, Honorable Speaker. So I just want to say that I would support the committee. I would want us to still look at this, say that as we go to the next budget, we make sure that these monies, as much as we are also talking about the counties having pending bills, Honorable Speaker, it's also putting us in a very awkward position to see even the monies that are meant for equalization fund is still under the pending bills, and very huge for that matter. It's wrong. So I just want to challenge the committees, the two committees, that is the committee on the devolution, the committee on finance, and the entire house, that we must wake up and have a look at this so that at least we can do things the right way, and the relevant counties who are supposed to benefit from this can benefit. Otherwise, I support it there. Thank you.
Next is Senator Beatrice Sogol.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to add my voice to the topic of discussion, the equalization bill. Honorable Speaker, this was a very wise idea to address the issue of equity and the issue of marginalization in this country. But Honorable Speaker, as we sit here, we must ask ourselves whether we are achieving that thinking, that wise thinking that led to the inception of this bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you must know, and all of us know, that in this country, the access to certain core services like health is not equal. That when you go around in this country, there are Kenyans who continue to walk long distances to just get medical health, which is a basic right, Honorable Speaker. And I know that these are one of the reasons why this fund was created, Honorable Speaker. But the question is, Honorable Speaker, when you look at the report before us, you look at what so far has been disbursed against, from inception, against the total that should have been disbursed. Honorable Speaker, just look at the report, that out of the 79 plus billion, Honorable Speaker, since this was incepted, there is still a pending 62.677 billion, Honorable Speaker. The question I ask myself as I talk to this bill is that, is it achieving the general goal why it was created? Because if you are going to have such huge arrears, because from what the report shows, only 17 billion has been given out to our counties. Honorable Speaker, we must as a country address the issues of the arrears that are in this report. And secondly, Honorable Speaker, the bill talks about the fund given to counties and further given to constituencies that are within those counties. The question I ask myself, why is it not broken down to the wards? Because with devolution, we have wards. We are here talking about services going down to the people. What is so difficult in having this fund further broken down to the wards? Because as honorable colleagues, senators here, can observe, when you go around in your counties and you see the situations as it is, you are able to single out the challenges that are in the ward. Honorable Speaker, in achieving equity, we must have this fund and disbursed in a timely way. We talk about services, I've mentioned health, even the issue of roads, Honorable Speaker. Some of the functions that were devolved, county roads, Honorable Speaker, and not only county roads, Honorable Speaker. Let me give an example of my constituency, in Ndewa constituency, Honorable Speaker. Right now, if you went to my constituency, the only road that you can use is the one road that cuts across from Homa Bay town constituency to Sori, which is a major trunk road. Other than that tarmac road, Honorable Speaker, the people of my constituency have no road today. Somebody might give the excuse of the rains, but is it only my constituency where there are rains? And because of that, Honorable Speaker, we are looking forward to these funds so that my people, as well as other Kenyans, can get the right services. Honorable Speaker, I've also seen the parameters that have been provided in the report. But how I pray certain parameters were also introduced in future, Honorable Speaker, because if you are looking at marginalization, we know our gender, women, have equally been marginalized. And there should be a better way of ring-fencing some of these funds to serve women in particular, so that we can feel that we are equally Kenyans and the women around in the country can have particular services that have having just been ring-fenced from this file, as well as the youths. Honorable Speaker, certain parameters that could also be used are issues of maternal mortality. Honorable Speaker, in this country, there are particular areas where women are dying while giving birth. And the question we keep on asking ourselves as women and humanity is why women must die in the process of giving birth. Don't we have planning units that can plan for services that women are entitled to? Honorable Speaker, it is the issue of maternal mortality is key, because here we are 60 years after independence, still talking about young girls, young women, and generally women dying, and for reasons that are obvious. Some of them are inefficiency, some of them are inadequate services to them, some of them is lack of monitoring services to these women, some of them is just unavailability of personnel to attend to them at the right time. Honorable Speaker, another area that is key to consider in future as a parameter is even the immunization of children. Honorable Speaker, in this country, we know emerging issues that funding is diminishing and donor funds are bound to end at some point. For example, in immunization, Honorable Speaker, by 2029, the Gavi funding is going to end in this country. But when you look at the trends, from the health ministry, from our counties, you don't see consistent budgets for this exercise. And Honorable Speaker, finally, if this is not done as expected, Honorable Speaker, it will lead us again to medical conditions with our populations that again eat into our budget. So, Honorable Speaker, I support that not everybody is equal in this country, that a number of areas are marginalized, Honorable Speaker, with no access to rural roads, with no access to water, with no access to agricultural services, with no access to health services. And so it is wise that we provide this fund so that equality can be realized and equity. And so, Honorable Speaker, I support. The only thing is that the distribution of this money must take note of the fact that we have wards in our counties, and the breakdown should not only end up at constituencies and counties, but should go down to wards. Honorable Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator Agola Beatrice. Honorable Senators, on this particular business, there is no other interested senator to contribute or to speak into it. So what we need to have now is the mover to reply, and the mover is not around. So we defer that process of the mover to reply. If I reorganize again the order paper, order number 18, we defer that business. Then we go to order number 19. Clerk.
Order number 19, motion, mainstreaming of gender perspectives in legislative and policy processes. Resumption of debate interrupted on Tuesday, 21st April, 2026. Balance of time, 1 hour.
Yeah, so I give senators willing to maybe make their presentations or contributions. Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had not yet contributed to this very important motion, Mr. Speaker. The issue of gender mainstreaming has been a key one for many years, Mr. Speaker. And one time when we were with you at the National Assembly, the former Chief Justice David Maraga declared that Parliament was illegal for failing to meet the gender threshold in a court judgment, and the President was supposed to dissolve Parliament, then President Uhuru Kenyatta. Of course, for other reasons, the President did not, dissolve Parliament at that particular moment, because it was argued that gender mainstreaming then should be progressive, because when it comes to an institution like Parliament, people decide through election. And Mr. Speaker, up to the time, people will want to elect balancing gender, then that's the time when that could be achieved, and that can be done progressively. Other countries have done it progressively. They've also done it through other means, which make sure that you meet the 2/3 gender threshold. But Mr. Speaker, this should begin with appointive positions. If you go to Rwanda, you'll find that the ministers are 50-50. Similarly, with Uganda, they have complied with the 2/3 gender rule. And in some counties, like Makueni County, they have actually met the 2/3 gender rule when it comes to appointive politics, when appointive positions. When you go to Makueni also, you find that the practice has been when the governor is male, automatically the deputy governor becomes female, and it balances the equation in that regard. And I wish that practice could be picked. And similarly in Kenya, if in the appointment of cabinet, it should be 50-50. Then the country will be getting a direction that we are keen on achieving the gender role. I know there's a pending constitutional amendment on this particular matter. It's been debated and is subject to a lot more of debate. And one of the things when we did this in the committee of JLAC, we got all manner of views, Mr. Speaker, during public participation. As much as this is supported, many Kenyans were of the view that if you have to force the gender role mainstreaming in Parliament, then it means you are going to have so many members of Parliament, to balance this, and it's again an expense on the people. But there are other ways through political parties. Mr. Speaker, you can be able to achieve the 2/3 gender rule. When political parties sponsor candidates and they encourage that, is one of the ways. And then when it comes to nominations, Mr. Speaker, the gender perspective must be given priority so that we can balance, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, this is a very serious debate, and I want to confirm that in countries like Rwanda, where in cabinet this has been done, and they have encouraged a lot of, gender balance, you find the women have performed very well in their dockets. You find less corruption in their docket, because a lot of women, could be afraid of some of these practices, unlike situations whereby, you find a lot of men are charged in public offices with these vices. In fact, one time I had an opportunity to represent Dr. Margaret Gashara, who was in an organization, government organization, which was dealing with the prevention of HIV/AIDS. and she was prosecuted for paying only 20,000 shillings as a CEO to a chairman who had done an activity, and in an investigation that amount of money was found irregular. You can see by the time she got prosecuted, she was denied bail because it was argued that she was resisting arrest. And she was only trying to explain herself, Mr. Speaker, but things didn't go well on her. After the case ended during President Kibaki's regime, I think she relocated out of the country. I didn't see her again out of what generated out of that. So at times, we need to encourage, people who are of good standing, in terms of reputation and in terms of being corruption-free, to serve, in public offices. And I think it should begin, in all sectors, both private, public sectors, to do gender mainstreaming as a policy generally. And therefore, we don't have a policy such as the Constitution guides us. I think this particular motion is very important when it comes to this particular regard. And I believe that, Mr. Speaker, if we work progressively and continue educating Kenyans on this, there will come a time, because all of us, Mr. Speaker, are educating our girls. We want them to be strong and to come to, to this house and represent Kenyans. The way the school system is now, Mr. Speaker, in fact, young women are performing better than young boys. This gender has been hammered so much that now it is time to lift the boy child. Otherwise, we go on like this, Mr. Speaker, you will find very empowered women in the future and less empowered boys, and they may have a very big challenge, approaching the other gender. And therefore, we really want to work on this to make sure that, Mr. Speaker, eventually, progressively, we achieve the gender balance as is required in our Constitution. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Thank you, Senator Manzo. Again, honorable senators, there is no other senator interested to make his or her contribution on this motion. And the move of the motion, I can see, is not in the House. So also I defer that the move will reply in next sitting. So, honorable senators, again, I have to reorganize the order of business. Order number 20, 21, 22, and 23 are defunct. So we go to order number 24, the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill.
Order number 20.
Clerk.
Order number 24, the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 66 of 2023, second reading.
Senator Christo Asige.
Thank you very much indeed, Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to table this bill. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 66 of 2023, be now read a second time. Mr. Speaker, before I begin, I wanted to inform the House that this is a bill that I am co-sponsoring with a member of the National Assembly, that is Honorable Irene Mayaka MP. And I want to, off the bat, Speaker, congratulate her greatly for the work that she has done to draft and to move this bill in the National Assembly through all of its processes. And now it is before us in the Senate so that we can table and debate it as well. Speaker, Honorable Mayaka has done a fantastic job. I want to congratulate her again, not just for pushing this bill, but also for doing a lot of lobbying around the bill, a lot of education and awareness creation amongst members of parliament in both houses. Mr. Speaker, I think that members here will agree with me that Honorable Mayaka has exemplified the role of a nominated member of parliament, not only in the National Assembly, but also in the Senate, not only on the minority side, but also on the majority side. I think it is clear, and you will hear testimonies of members of parliament all across these two houses talking about her excellence in work, her ability to think and represent her people in the most excellent of ways, Speaker, and also, Speaker, her ability to raise impactful issues such as this that we are about to debate, Mr. Speaker. The purpose of this bill, Speaker, is to amend Section 147 of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act of 1999 by introducing a clause that prohibits the planting, introduction, growth, or maintenance of eucalyptus trees along rivers, lakes as well, wetlands, and other critical water catchment areas in the country. Mr. Speaker, eucalyptus remains one of the most widely cultivated forestry species in the world. The genus comprises over 900 species, most of which originate from Australia. Speaker, in Kenya, eucalyptus was introduced as far back as 1902, primarily to support the construction of the Kenya-Uganda Railway through the provision of fuel wood. Today, Speaker, it plays a significant role in our economy. It is used for timber, for transmission poles, for plywood, for fuel wood, fencing posts, construction materials, windbreaks, and even ornamental purposes, Speaker. It is grown across most ecological zones in Kenya on a wide variety of soil types. Speaker, further, it is estimated that about 153,000 hectares of land in Kenya currently under eucalyptus cultivation, spread across gazetted forests, private lands, small-scale farms, and land owned by local authorities. And this area continues to expand, Speaker, driven by high demand, particularly for transmission poles linked to rural electrification, as well as construction and energy needs across the country. There is no doubt that eucalyptus has supported livelihoods all over. A ready market has made it attractive for farmers seeking reliable and relatively quick economic returns. But, Mr. Speaker, we must also confront the growing body of evidence and the lived realities that point to its environmental cost, particularly when planted near water sources. Concerns, Mr. Speaker, have consistently been raised about the high water consumption of eucalyptus and its impact on soil fertility and biodiversity. Communities have associated the drying up of streams, of rivers, and wells with the expansion of eucalyptus plantations. In Kilifi County, for example, the drying of the Sherangwa well has been linked to eucalyptus close by. Mr. Speaker, research findings support these concerns. Studies from countries such as India, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, and also South Africa show that eucalyptus plantations significantly affect water resources, soil health, and biodiversity. One of the key issues, Speaker, that eucalyptus exhibits is what is scientifically known as the nilallopathic effect, releasing chemical compounds that suppress the growth of other plants around it. As a result, Speaker, it is difficult to find meaningful undergrowth vegetation within eucalyptus plantations. leading to diminished biodiversity in those areas. In addition, Speaker, these chemical compounds can impound affecting soil processes that allow organic matter to build up. This further contributes to declining soil health, Speaker. Also, Speaker, there is documented evidence of reduced water yields. In India and Zimbabwe, as mentioned, studies have also shown a reduction in water levels in wells by between 25 to 30% within just 3 to 5 years of eucalyptus planting around them. The nutrient demands of eucalyptus are also significantly high. While it absorbs large amounts of nutrients from the soil to sustain its rapid growth, Speaker, it also returns very little through leaf litter. This imbalance leads to nutrient depletion and long-term loss of soil fertility. A 2023 study in Ethiopia further indicated that the rapid expansion of eucalyptus farming is likely to affect downstream water supply, what is referred to blue water resources. Now, Mr. Speaker, other jurisdictions have also taken decisive steps. In South Africa, several eucalyptus species have been classified as invasive under the National Environmental Management Biodiversity Act. These include species such as forest red gum, river red gum, salina gum, spider gum, sugar gum, and curry, many of which are also grown here in Kenya, as you know. The classification is based on their severe impact on water resources and ecosystem health, Speaker, particularly their excessive water consumption where they are planted. Mr. Speaker, here in Kenya, we have attempted to address this issue before. In 2009, the late John Micah wanted to reduce this issue in riparian areas. NEMA also restricted planting eucalyptus near water sources. However, Speaker, these measures have not been effective, largely because they were not anchored in law. And that's why we are tabling this as co-sponsors between myself and Honorable Mayaka in the Senate today. Also, that's why this bill is both necessary and long overdue. It provides the Cabinet Secretary with the legal authority to develop regulations that prohibit the planting and maintenance of eucalyptus in ecologically sensitive areas. It also ensures that our environmental policies are not just advisory, but also enforceable. Mr. Speaker, this is not about eliminating eucalyptus. I want to dissuade that thought. It's about ensuring the thought that it is grown responsibly and in the right places. As we move forward, Speaker, it will be critical for key institutions such as the Kenya Forest Service, the Kenya Forestry Research Institute, and also the Water Resources Authority to provide site-specific guidance on alternative tree species that can offer economic value without compromising environmental sustainability. Speaker, this bill also concerns county governments, as you would be, as provided under Article 110(1)(a) of the Constitution. It touches on functions outlined in Part 2 of the 4th Schedule, particularly in relation to the implementation of national policies on natural resources and environmental conservation. Importantly, Speaker, its enactment will not occasion any additional expenditure at all of our public funds. Mr. Speaker, at its core, this bill is about balance. It's about protecting livelihoods, yes, but also protecting the natural systems that sustain those livelihoods. And in a time where climate change continues to put pressure on our water resources, we cannot afford to ignore practices that worsen that strain. This morning, Speaker, I know you also attended, like the rest of us did, a sitting from early morning discussing matters of climate change and how we as legislators can seek to improve or reduce drastically these impacts on our counties. And this, Speaker, is one of those solutions that we are, as co-sponsors of this bill, tabling here today. If we get this right, Speaker, we will not just be regulating a tree species. We will also be safeguarding our water, our ecosystems, and our future. Speaker, I do hope that this very simple yet critical bill that I have tabled and co-sponsoring together with Honorable Irene Mayaka of the National Assembly will be of interest, and that we will be able to persuade colleague senators to also understand the importance of what it seeks to repair. Speaker, it seems a simple, like I said, amendment to the bill, the act, pardon me. However, it will improve so many livelihoods and so many of our environments that we are so desperately trying to preserve, especially in the rise of climate change, erosion of different species of plants in our country. Speaker, again, I wish to thank Honorable Mayaka of the National Assembly, the times that we have sat together to talk about this bill, her work in tabling this bill for the first time, the amendment to it, rather, in the National Assembly, and giving me an opportunity to do the same in the Senate. And I do hope, as many of us senators are farmers, many of us understand agriculture, natural resources, and the environment very, very well, Speaker. We may not have gone to university and acquired PhDs in it, but sometimes these cultural norms are ingrained in us as Kenyans, as citizens of this country, and those who are loyal to the soil. Mr. Speaker, I believe very wholeheartedly that one of these people is Senator Cherargei, a farmer in his own right, a legislator in his own right, and a ranking member of this Senate. And that's the reason why I would request him to second this bill. I thank you.
Senator Chalage.
Thank you, Senator Crystal Asike, for that rare form of accolades that you have given, so that I can take honor of seconding this very crucial bill. I think Senator Crystal Asige continues to distinguish herself as one of the industrious with a lot of tenacity in terms of what is provided by Article 96, legislation, representation, Mr. Speaker, and oversight and division of revenue. And Mr. Speaker, sincerely speaking, I hope to see her in the next parliament, either the National Assembly or in the Senate. And Mr. Speaker, you remember the Senator of Nairobi did mention that some of us have served in Senate for some time. But this is only my second term, Mr. Speaker. That some of us intend to stay in the Senate. We don't intend to stay in the Senate. It is the people who give us opportunity to continue serving in Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, the people of Nandi are aware when I'm called, I'll be more than obligated to serve in other different capacities so that we ensure that the devolution works, Mr. Speaker. And by the way, if you are a politician and you are not ambitious, you don't have any business being in politics. And I know also yourself, Mr. Speaker, you're also nursing very good dreams of becoming the governor of Meru. I know it might be in 2027 or you might postpone, but I know Senator Joyce Korir has set her eyes on a Bomet Central seat. So everybody has an ambition, including Issa Juma Boy Issa. So Speaker, so as I second this bill, this is a very straightforward bill. We want to amend. So Speaker, we appreciate that eucalyptus is one of the critical, and it was introduced with a good intention. Even where I come from, it was used for timber, it has been used for electricity. It's very critical, eucalyptus. What we are doing, and I want to thank Senator Asige, she has been very crystal clear, although her name is Crystal, she has been crystal clear by saying that we are not banning the eucalyptus. We are just ensuring that the case that was done and this amendment, if you look at the Olkalau, a case that was filed by Wilfred Mosoti Omariba, who was acting on behalf of public interest as Cabinet Secretary of Environment and others in November 2025, Mr. Speaker, the courts ruled that we need to comply, that all eucalyptus should not be planted within 30 meters of the riparian areas or next to the rivers. It should be where the river is 30 meters from and 10 meters from where property is. And I think what we are just doing, led by Senator Crystal, is to comply and enrich the Environmental and Management Act Amendment Bill of 2023. And you remember, Mr. Speaker, in that ruling, he also went that the Parliament should, in the wisdom of the court, that we must come up with legislative intervention. And Senator Honorable Irene Mayaka, who happens to be the chair of regional integration in the National Assembly and co-sponsor Senator Crystal Asige, have gone ahead and ensured that we comply by that, and we are happy. And I want to thank them because when I've been very passionate. So, Speaker, you need to appreciate that I know farmers who, I am aware where I come from, many people have planted those trees to sell to Kenya Power and Lighting. Many have used for timber. It is being used even for us who enjoy sauna or in health clubs. Some of the eucalyptus are being used because they are good in clearing some of the coals, assisting in asthma clearance, Mr. Speaker. So it's also good. And Mr. Speaker, the eucalyptus is used for many things, even ointment, even healing of wound and many others that are generated through eucalyptus, Mr. Speaker. It is very critical for health. But what we are just saying is it's also used for pain management. It is used for many things, even aromatherapy to release stress. Mr. Speaker, for many people who have stress-related depression, it can be used also to release. So we are not saying eucalyptus is bad, but we are saying eucalyptus is not good for water areas, wetlands, where water is, where river is. Mr. Speaker, I've come from where we depend on agriculture. I've seen where swamp, where eucalyptus has been planted, it dries after some years, which interferes with the ecosystem of most of this environment, Mr. Speaker. And you know, even it is called in Kiswahili, mukalatusi. I would have expected Senator Crystal to tell us because she comes from mukalatusi or mtimbao. Mr. Speaker, the Akikuyu community and Nyumba have given it a very interesting name. It is called Munywa Mai, water drinker. I know you come from that Murima. You know, Mulima is giving us a lot of problems, but tutakaa tu kwa Mulima. It's called Munywa wa Mai. It means loosely translated water drinker. So this is a drinker.
Let me give you the right pronunciation. Munywa Mai. Munywa Mai, not Munywa Mai. There's no Mai, Munywa Mai. Can you pronounce it correctly?
Mr. Speaker, I don't know, but I think it's just the intonation on how it's pronounced. I don't come from that region, but you have put it better placed. Because I know Munywa.
You are talking British English, but you don't come from England.
Okay, I will try. It's called Munywa Mai. Loosely translated, water drinker. So the Akikuyu community has gone ahead to describe what eucalyptus is. It dries the rivers. If you plant next to rivers, next to water sources, next to wetlands, Mr. Speaker, it makes the place very dry. The place no longer becomes wet, which is very important for planting, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you look at, because I have only 4 points, you look even at Article 69 on the obligation in respect of the environment. We must also, in principles, that we must ensure that sustainable exploitation, utilization, management, and conservation of environment and natural resources. Are you aware the President is pushing that we plant 15 billion trees? And I'm happy in the drive of planting trees, especially moving from, I think, 2% forest cover to 10%, Mr. Speaker, is to ensure, and we must be very critical, that at least eucalyptus has not been included. We should go for indigenous trees, trees that are environment friendly, that will sustain the ecosystem. And I think it is very important, even along, and that is why even in mangrove forest, along the coastline, Those are the type of trees that are friendly to the environment, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, even as the president pushes, I'm happy in the 15 billion trees, apart from indigenous trees that are environmental friendly. And Mr. Speaker, where I come from, there are even trees that when you plant, they assist in even giving more water, making the place more wetter, Mr. Speaker. And that, I think that is very important, Mr. Speaker, going into the future. So I agree with Senator Asige that we must, even as we push for 10% cover of the land area of forest in areas that we continue, we must ensure that we protect the environment. And I agree, Mr. Speaker, if you have built your house next to a eucalyptus tree, they always destroy the house. And that is why courts taught in their wisdom that it should be 10 meters. I know after the amendment co-sponsored by Senator Asige, we shall be able to come with rules and regulations on how it will be implemented for effectiveness going into the future. Mr. Speaker, and therefore we are very keen, and I'm happy, and I want to appeal to the Ministry of Environment and Forest, to the Office of the President, that as we implement 15 billion trees, please let us discourage the planting of eucalyptus, especially in agricultural high productive areas, so that we protect, Mr. Speaker. And I know the President means well for this country. Even today, Mr. Speaker, you heard that he has ensured that by January 1st, 2027, the 44,000 teachers will be confirmed on permanent and pensionable. And I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, even in January 1, 2027, the Ministry of Treasury has allocated 4.92 billion that will ensure teachers who are on contract under TSC will be observed under permanent and pensionable terms. I want to appeal to teachers who will be teaching environmental studies to ensure that we teach our children, we encourage the growth of trees that are friendly. Mr. Speaker, when you come to our tea farms in Nandi, in all sub-counties, because we plant tea, you will always find that we are using, the name is disappear, but in my local language it's called jebkumia. It's just called jebkumia, where it is also good for fertilization, Mr. Speaker. I don't know the name, but I don't know whether Senator Korir can know that the one we plant, jebkumia, the one we plant along to give growth and ensure the growth. I know the people of Ansad will complain, but if they look for me, I hope I'll recall. Is it Elcon? It's not Elcon. It's called jebkumia in my local language, Mr. Speaker. So those are type of trees, and even fruit trees, that will ensure that growth, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, in an upshot, because it's a very simple amendment, and I want my colleagues to ensure that we push and conclude and be able to reply so that it is scheduled for division, Mr. Speaker. This is a very straightforward matter, and I want to appeal that the implementation, Mr. Speaker, finally on compliance, and I know the co-sponsor is here, we must ensure when we pass there is compliance. And I want to challenge NEMA, because this issue of 30 meters from the water source and also 10 meters from the buildings is very critical. I know in this town, Mr. Speaker, the reason there are many floods in this city, Mr. Speaker, is because of one thing. Many people are built on waterways. Many people are blocked waterways, and that is why whenever there is rains in this city, it becomes into a river flood. I heard the governor saying this city was built on a swampy area. It's not the point. The point is we have failed to implement the physical planning where the waterways are being blocked by buildings. So we hope when we pass, NEMA must ensure 101% compliance, Mr. Speaker, so that we don't need to pass the law for cosmetic value. We want to pass the law. You know, I saw Kenyans were arguing, if Mr. Speaker, when you see the issue of floods in the city, people are asking, where is the role? Where is the role of Parliament? We have passed all these laws. The problem is on compliance and implementation of the laws. It is as simple as that. Even on issues, and by the way, that is corruption. Because if the county government of Nairobi allows a building across the waterway to block water when it rains, Mr. Speaker, that is corruption. And today, by the way, Mr. Speaker, today China has sentenced 2 defense ministers to death over corruption. When will Kenya reach that level, Mr. Speaker? When will it reach Senator Eddie, Senator Crystal? We must punish corruption to be as rare as a snowball in hell. That is what Chinese are doing, and that is corruption. If you fail to comply with what we are passing as a parliament, it's corruption, Mr. Speaker. And I know Senator Crystal has been a person of integrity. I'm happy Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, that we are proud of her. She is a person with a stand, Mr. Speaker. And I think most of our age mates, which are called Gen Z, and I know it brought a lot of issues when President Suluhu Hassan commented about it, Mr. Speaker. But you know, we should have a stand like Senator Crystal Asige, Mr. Speaker. Because even the current Gen Z, when it happened in 2024, they were with Morara Kebaso. They moved to Matiang'i. They moved to Maraga. Nowadays, they have moved to Sifuna. So, Speaker, they don't have a stand. I like people like Senator Crystal. When they say they have a stand, they have a stand. And I hope the young people our age should have a stand. Because by tomorrow, they might move from Sifuna to Senator Katuri. Before you know it, they'll move back to Cherargei and maybe finally to Senator Eddy. So young people should have a stand like Senator Crystal Asige so that we can have a better country with a vision that will change this country. And I know finally after Senator Eddy, they'll move back to President William Ruto. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, allow me that I beg to second and request to continue to second and support this bill. I will vote for it when it comes to division, and I can give the support and congratulate Senator Crystal Asige and wish her the best. I know this will be part of our marking scheme when she will be seeking election of any seats. And by the way, all seats are open, from MCA to the presidency. If he wants to run, we'll be there to support where we can. Mr. Speaker, I support. Yeah?
As I propose the question, maybe Senator Singh has not invited us to, as she launches another album, you know, she's a great musician also. So, Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Environmental Management and Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 66 of 2023, be now read a second time. Yes, now I open debate on this motion. Senator Okech Eddy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think this is a very good bill, and I hope that Senator Cherigei will see it to be educated by an agroforestry expert. It's debate, you know, you learn knowledge in the middle of debate. I don't know why Senator Cherigei is Mr. Speaker, perhaps one of the things that this House doesn't know is that I've been involved in tree planting for the longest. I see people getting a lot of accolades, and sometimes you don't need to blow your own trumpet. But I'm actually the founder of TRICO. Maybe you've heard about TRICO. You should come and visit my place. I came up with a model, Mr. Speaker, that helps communities to do what we call aggregation of microforests. Our model is a very simple one that argues that instead of doing big plantations, you can actually empower farmers by ensuring that those farmers plant the trees by themselves and they get incentive to take care of those trees. In Migori County today, Mr. Speaker, I have got thousands of farmers that we have enabled to plant only 365 trees, and we pay you an equivalent of $1 a tree a year, which translates to 10 shillings every month for every tree that you grow. And that means that we have put families, over 2,000 families that we have put in this program that are earning.
I don't want to interrupt you, Senator Okech. Is it that you learned agroforestry or you plant trees?
I practice agroforestry.
You know, agroforestry is a course by itself, a training.
Yes. I did a course. You know where I went to, Mr. Speaker. I went to a liberal arts school.
Because I don't want you
in Yale University, where you can take a course, just a course on agroforestry in a semester.
A unit.
And that's why I got a lot of interest. But then when I came back to start this program, I also went to KEFRI, which is actually the best institution in Africa in terms of science and knowledge of tree growing and tree planting. They are different. Tree planting is an easier part. but tree growing is the major part. How do we get into tree growing exercises? So, Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious thing that is close to my heart. And I want to thank Senator Asige and also our counterpart, Honorable Mayaka in the National Assembly for coming with this bill. Because, Mr. Speaker, this is a conversation that has been going on. It's a very controversial conversation. And I say controversial because I am very addicted to science. And I want to bring science to this conversation. Because, Mr. Speaker, as you've seen this bill, the way it has been put, it says that we need to amend Section 42 of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act and amend subsection 3 by inserting the following new paragraphs immediately after paragraph B. They're introducing paragraph BA, which says the prohibition of the introduction, growth, or maintenance of trees of the eucalyptus species, not varieties, in and along any river, lake, sea, or wetlands. And then it says the prohibition of the introduction, growth, of maintenance of any invasive species or other potentially dangerous species, again, along those water bodies, Mr. Speaker. Now, this is what I wanted to say, Mr. Speaker. While I appreciate the essence of this bill, which is basically saying that when you plant eucalyptus trees in totality along water bodies, then it will drain water, it is a theory that is proven by part. So to the extent that we could limit this conversation to a scientific conversation, I will support this bill. But I think that if you're not careful, we'll make an omnibus bill that I'm happy because this bill now is with Senator Asige, who is a very serious scientist as well. She likes facts and database. Mr. Speaker, I think that we cannot take this bill as it has come from the National Assembly. I think we must rework this bill so it has got a scientific basis. Because this bill has just looked at the cons of eucalyptus. It doesn't look at the pros of eucalyptus. And then it has looked at the cons of planting eucalyptus trees on wet water areas, which is an omnibus in the sense that not all water, wetlands and water bodies are affected the same way with eucalyptus. And I'll argue my case, Mr. Speaker, so that I can be able to help perhaps work this bill so that it actually has got a more coherent approach that doesn't limit it. To start with, just in the issue of the cons or the demerits of planting eucalyptus, Mr. Speaker, scientifically, if you go to KEFRI has indicated a number of this knowledge and they're available to the public. There is a fashion with which eucalyptus species deplete water resources. And this is because there are a number of varieties of eucalyptus that are guzzlers of water. They drink a lot of water during the time that they are growing, and most of all when they attain a certain kind of maturity. So that guzzling of water in Kenya, you can argue it out that while it is true, does it really affect lakes, seas, and oceans that we have? It is only dangerous to the extent that it affects springs, streams, and wells that could easily dry up. For instance, if you go and plant eucalyptus in Lake Victoria, it doesn't have the same effect as planting eucalyptus on the hills of Kisii Highlands or in the hills of Mau Summit. Because in Mau Summit or on the Kisii Islands, you will find springs, streams, and wells that are essential for our water catchment areas. So in those areas, scientifically, you can limit eucalyptus planting in those areas. But it has got a different effect when you take them in wet water lands, in the grassroots areas like the lowlands of the lake, because in some of those lowlands, they are endemic watersheds that look like swamps, that planting them there actually restores that entire ecosystem. So the first thing about water guzzling that you must do, Mr. Speaker, you must specify in a law like this what water areas will you be limiting them from. Is it the catchment areas, or is it the areas that it will be able to stabilize the biodiversity? And I'll go back into science once I get into the pros for planting these trees. The second thing, Mr. Speaker, is because of the element of how they grow tall and big, they can inhibit the biodiversity of an area. What do I mean by this? They end up forming this canopy that has got this littering leaf that can kill other biodiversity plants that could also help with the ecosystems of water. So that becomes a problem. And it goes to the first question that I was saying, that it is important to limit it in water catchment areas. Mr. Speaker, eucalyptus trees also have got very oily leaves. In general, this is a general conversation. In general, they've got very oily leaves. And those oily leaves sometimes exposes them to catching wildfires. And you have seen this even in the US, where you see a lot of wildfires coming as a result of leafy trees, the chemicals in the leafy trees catching fire, and sometimes are highly inflammable to just extreme weather conditions like extreme heat. What that will do, Mr. Speaker, is that they end up causing these fires that can deplete an entire area of water catchment. These things we must understand them to that level. And then lastly, Mr. Speaker, there's an element of soil degradation, which basically, because of their deep and aggressive roots, those roots, Mr. Speaker, end up competing with other surrounding vegetation that may end up depleting the ecosystem for which other vegetations could be able to actually grow and support the water system. But Mr. Speaker, that said, why has eucalyptus been a backbone of small and medium income families in our economy? It is important that when you're drawing this kind of law, you must look at the environment impact vis-a-vis the economic impact, and you will see that, Mr. Speaker, most of the families in the grassroots have actually educated their children through tree planting. Because you plant a eucalyptus tree, and depending on the variety, which I'll touch on very fast, Mr. Speaker, depending on the variety, within 3-4 years, you start earning from a tree, one log, you can make as much as 7,000 shillings. And Mr. Speaker, you can imagine the families that are, for instance, tea-growing families. In Kericho, where the state of Nandi comes from, in Nandi, where the majority comes from in Kericho, those families find serious fuel from this eucalyptus to actually even process tea. So there's a first element of economic return that eucalyptus has in terms of the timber and furniture, as well as fuel that it does help with. Meaning that if we restrict it to some areas that will interfere with the water systems, then it makes sense. But there are some water systems like lakes that even if you grow it there, it will not necessarily interfere with the water tables of those areas. But if you put this bill the way it is, you are going to limit it to anything water body and make it impossible to grow eucalyptus. Such that even the sense of sometimes draining waterlogged areas, like marshy water areas that are not good for massive water consumption, you will still limit it with this bill. So I wanted to urge my sister, Senator Crystal, and of course my sister, Senator Irene, Honorable Irene in National Assembly, to look at the potential of growing eucalyptus in areas that it can be able to grow that are not necessarily areas without water bodies. There are areas with water bodies that can actually still grow eucalyptus. And Mr. Speaker, if this is the House of the Senate, which always thinks, and I'm not in any way trying to impute in power of motive in the lower house, but I've seen a number of times the rigor in this house. The rigor in this house is very more scientific, and we go into some small details. If we have the time, and if Senator Crystal Asige will allow some of us who have been in this tree planting business, we could be able to go into drafting a law that scientifically looks at this issue depending on species of the eucalyptus, the age of the eucalyptus, and the weather condition where it is planted. Because, Mr. Speaker, planting eucalyptus in Turkana, near Lake Turkana, will not affect Lake Turkana. It will instead rebuild the water ecosystem in that area. That's a weather condition. Unlike planting it in Kisii, where there is rain every single day, but it will interfere with the water catchment in that highland in Kisii, or the Mau forest. So the first thing I wanted to urge Senator Sige, can we be able to look at the varieties of eucalyptus and recommend a law that looked scientifically at those particular varieties that could affect a certain system and a certain weather condition and restrict those, while allowing others to be growing in some areas. Number two, can we also look at the age of eucalyptus that we are recommending, that if you find a eucalyptus variety grown at a younger age in some areas, because a young eucalyptus, Mr. Speaker, actually does not take more than 20 liters of water. But the older eucalyptus get, once you say, for instance, 5 years and above, it starts guzzling about 100 liters of water to sometimes even 200 liters. But if you look at families that want to use eucalyptus for economic gains, most of them use them between the ages of 1 month to about 5 years. So why are you restricting a family that is using eucalyptus at 5 years? For instance, if you look at eucalyptus grandis, the species that came from South Africa, it matures within 5 years. And by that time, it will have formed about 30 meters that can be able to be sold to distribution poles that we see in this country, Mr. Speaker. If you limit it to age, then there's nothing wrong with growing eucalyptus grandis around the lake, around a river, as long as the law says that they cannot go above 5 years. Yet at 5 years, the owner of that eucalyptus grandis will have gotten the economic return and contribute to our economy. So age must be important to be looked at here, not just saying eucalyptus. And then, Mr. Speaker, the last one, so that I can let other people also contribute, would be to look at this thing in terms of going specific to species of eucalyptus or variety. I want to call them, because eucalyptus already is a species by itself, but the varieties that are taking more water than others. For instance, Mr. Speaker, if you were to go to Kefri, you will learn that there is a eucalyptus species called Tasmanian blue gum, which other people call Eucalyptus globus. Because of that name, Mr. Speaker, it ends up taking almost 339 to 1,079 millimeters of water per year, whether young or old, because of the nature of the rings that it needs to form. That particular species should be limited by this bill from being grown on any water body. But if you come to another species here, Mr. Speaker, that we have in the country called the cedar gum or Eucalyptus guni, as specified by expert, Mr. Speaker, this one has got a very popular florage that is very good for developing good poles for distribution and sometimes also transmission, Mr. Speaker, but it requires just regular water. In fact, it takes less water than tea plantations, than even cotton plantations. Why would you limit this species by this omnibus bill? Another one, Mr. Speaker, that we have in the country is silver dollar gum, or the Eucalyptus polyathermos, Mr. Speaker. This one actually grows even in arid conditions, needs very little water. If you look at other things that we grow, like even Mirai in Meru, Mr. Speaker, The Mirai in Meru takes more water than this silver dollar gum. Why would you want to limit this species? Well, if you look at another one called river red gum or Eucalyptus calamadulensis, this particular one takes about 500 gallons of water. That one you limit it because that one will take more water from our river sources, Mr. Speaker. So it is important that I wanted to urge my sister, Senator Asige, that we limit eucalyptus according to the varieties that are harmful to the environment and allow the scientific model to be able to allow for those that do not take a lot of water. We should not have an omnibus bill that will make it difficult. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, the one that I like the most, because this one I've been able to try to get its seeds, the one that my brother, Senator Chiragei, was talking about, which is the lemon-scented gum, which is, we also call it Eucalyptus citriodoral. This one is the tree that has got the aromatic oil that is used for a number of things, you know, like developing the things that we use in sauna, you know, the therapeutic chemicals. Mr. Speaker, this particular variety, first of all, grows within 6 years to a 35 meters tall tree. But if you look at the kind of water that it takes less water than cotton. In fact, it is a drought-tolerant tree of eucalyptus variety that is highly recommended in any temperature of our tropical environment. So if you pass this bill by saying that we are going to prohibit any eucalyptus species, not variety, species, you will be doing injustice to a very highly valuable variety of eucalyptus, this lemon-scented gum, that could give the economy a lot of money and has got nothing to do with the interference of water table on the environment. And Madam Speaker, sorry, it will be very, very unfair for people already doing this to miss out in cashing out from this. So I support this bill, but I will support it with amendments that are scientifically based, because this is the house of the Senate, where we do research, where we depend on data, where we depend on science to be able to make decisions in lawmaking and putting up legislations that are not necessarily prohibitive to opportunities of economic magnitude like the trees that we have. Therefore, I will be bringing some amendments to look at the scientific element. If my sister, Senator Sige, will agree.
Thank you, Senator Eddy. I'm trying to get the list of the speakers who are interested in contributing to this debate. Senator Joyce Corriel, could the clerk's desk assist with getting a display of those that are interested in contributing to this motion?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me also to contribute on this very important bill that has been brought forward by Irene Mayaka, member of the National Assembly, and Honorable Asige, a very, very strong lady from the Senate. Madam Speaker, I just want to congratulate the two members for bringing this amendment, an amendment that I know it has seen the light of the day, maybe some few adjustments that I've just heard being deliberated on by Senator Eddy. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, I think the main purpose of this bill is to assure not only the Kenyans, but the world that we have enough water, because water is life. I think that is the whole essence of this bill, because at the end of the day, we are not against plantation of the eucalyptus, but the main purpose is to make sure that we have enough water along the rivers. Honorable Speaker, we've seen the dangers that has been brought forward by this type of species. This is one of the species that we cannot ignore because it's majorly used even
within these premises, Madam Speaker, you find it is very decorative because of this species, Honorable Speaker. I want to say that it is one of the pest species that can be used by in construction. It is used in terms of medication. It is used, it's widely used. So, Madam Speaker, I just want to say that I want to thank the government for the initiative that they started in terms of making sure that they do the cleaning across the country, which of course I want to also encourage the members that we really make sure that we look into this, especially making sure that these trees that are being planted in various parts of this country are really taken care of. I remember one day we were talking about the Green Army, who are supposed to be assisting us in terms of making sure that whatever the government has done on specific days that they have set aside, they keep on monitoring this to make sure that these trees that we are trying to bring is really controlled and managed in a better way, so that at least we can be able to make a conducive environment for the generation to come, and the current generation and the generation to come. So, Madam Speaker, I just want to say that indeed these trees have made a number of destruction in some of the parts of the country. Despite the number of research that has been done, despite the issue that we have several species, I would want to say that we are not disputing whatever the species that will be there. One major thing that the bill is trying to bring across is that these eucalyptus trees should not be planted across the river. Should not be planted across the river because of the effects, adverse effects that have already caused. When we speak the facts, I remember a long time ago when I was a mayor and we used to have the Mara River initiative where we were trying to check on the number of trees across the river, and you could find even the Mara River was almost drying up just because of the plantation that was done along the rivers. So, Madam Speaker, we have varieties of species that are friendly to the environment, that are friendly to the water. We have a number of fruits, which I also want to thank the government because of the initiative that they have started in terms of making sure that they diversify this plantation, where we have even fruits like avocado, different types of avocados. We have different types of coffee. We have different types of tea. We have different types of trees, which have assisted indigenous trees, which I know, Madam Speaker, it has a lot of importance within the environment, Honorable Speaker. So I just want to say that I really support the amendment, which I know it has already been approved by the other house. It's only that the main challenge that we have in this country is the issue of implementation, which I want to believe that even if we are going to approve it and leave it lying, Madam Speaker, we will not see the change. But unless it is implemented, which I also want to thank this House because of the committee that the ad hoc committee that I think it is in the process of being established, so make sure that at least a number of resolutions that are made in this House implemented to the letter. So, Madam Speaker, I just want to say this is one of the bills that needs to be adhered to once it is done by the two houses, Madam Speaker, to make sure that we achieve the purpose of this amendment. Otherwise, I beg to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Joyce. Senator Dan Manzo, you're next.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've risen to support my sister on her amendment, but I want to indicate to her also when it comes to nature and the environment, and for every species of a plant which is on earth, God has put it here for its purpose. I remember one time Minister Mishuki, when he was a Minister for Environment, without really a proper law, he issued an executive order that these trees be cleared from several places where they were causing reduction of water. But the way the world is made, Madam Speaker, there are places which are waterlogged. There are places which have too much water, that every day it has to be taken away to balance the nature, and that's what really happens. I want to agree with Senator Eddy, and we should make amendments to zone so that different species adapted to different areas can grow. There are eucalyptus trees which grow in Makueni, which is a dry area. And they are the ones from Tasmania, originally Australia. And they grow in dry areas and behave like a dry tree, a tree which is adapted to dry area and take very little water. So we need all that data, and the forestry team have that. And then there are those which take a lot of water and grow, in the places with a lot of water. And I believe what now we should do is to modify this law to zone, so that whatever takes less water grows in natural climate, whatever takes much water grows in areas which the water is not needed, is in excess. And I think that will continue to balance nature. Why? Because eucalyptus is actually a medicinal plant. It is used in relief of pain, when manufacturing ointments where you relieve pain. It is used in, it is largely used in saunas, which are quite a number in the world. Not everybody has a privilege of visiting a sauna, but those who have that privilege in golf clubs and many other places, and in big hotels after long travel, or it's even used for treatment of colds. Therefore, a plant which can be useful economically, and also many people grow it for firewood. It is the main tree used to do, electricity poles. And even when now they have tried to do the cement poles in an effort to conserve environment, you have found that the cement poles are very unreliable in many ways, and may not be ideal in certain places, because they also have a metal supporting them. And therefore, this is a poor conductor, and therefore electricity cannot run through the poles which come from eucalyptus tree. And therefore, it has its place in nature. And I think what we should do now is to zone and get it right in the right places. And I'm encouraging Senator Sige to frequently visit saunas, and she'll get that good scent. And sometimes it's good when you are catching up a cold. It leaves your skin very nice. By the time you live there, it heals, skin rashes and things like that. So I want to plead with you that you allow us to work on this bill so that we can make amendments, so that we allow zoning, so that everybody feels well, and that we don't make a law which tends to compete with nature or to compete with the original God's plan when he was building the earth, because he brought in so many species of everything. Every small thing on earth, even anything alive. That's why you have the law that do not kill. Anything which is alive at its own use is only that now when it is excessive. And they have a way of balancing each other through different chains, so that we can also leave nature at its best. So I really look forward to that moment. And the Speaker have one plea. About 5 people have contributed. This Senate has 68 senators. There be no other interested person a time like this, and many people left before she started. I wish many people had heard how she introduced this bill very well. I don't know what rule to apply for bills which have such little contribution, because I know bills which have become law after 3 senators have contributed. It comes for question to be put. That time there is quorum, without proper debate and such. It goes, So I'll be pleading, because it's a matter of serious interest in this. It has an interest in every single county in this country. I think we should use that standing order and get this moved to the next city session, so that there's an opportunity for other senators to contribute. Otherwise, what I've seen in my 13 years here, and Senator Coril can testify because we've been there for a long time, and she's been in leadership for many years. And I pray for her as she continues serving the country, and God gives her many years to really serve this country in many capacities. If I were to run for president, she will be my running mate, so that eventually she becomes the president. So we need this bill, discussed by many more senators. I plead with you, Speaker. And any other bill where it comes, she knows in the history, people used to bring bills that time. The ones which ones would be sneaked quickly. And then it is debated, and the next time it is put to question, and the next time it doesn't have amendments, and next time it has become law. Of course, there are other ways you filter as you go up. But I believe if this one, because it needs a lot of scientific input, and we have other experts of nature in the House, then if you can do that, then I believe it will be good. Sometimes that's why, Madam Speaker, I stay late to push so that the time comes, and then, more debate carries on the next day. So if you could apply that standing order, I would really appreciate it, Madam Speaker. I thank you. I support her, but we look forward to making amendments.
Do we have a mover for that motion to adjourn debate?
Yes.
Senator Mulgo, you can proceed to take the mic.
I beg to move that the debate be now adjourned pursuant to Standing Order 110(1).
Have a seconder? Who is the seconder? Senator Mulgo.
I can second.
My seconder is Senator Makueni.
Senator Manzo, you may proceed.
I do.
What's your point of order, Senator Christo?
Thank you very much, Speaker, for giving me an opportunity. Just before Senator Manzo carries on, Speaker, I am persuaded by his debate and his request that I don't seek to finalize today. However, Speaker, if there is an opportunity that this bill or the continuation of this debate can be placed on Tuesday's order paper, Speaker, where there will be more members rather than later in the week, which is closer to us going on recess, where we may find ourselves in the exact same situation as we are now. So, Speaker, mine is just to request kindly that if we are to adjourn debate right now to allow for more more senators to speak next week, that it be put on Tuesday's order paper, where we are set to have far more delegations in the House. I thank you.
Senator Christo, I think it is in order that we proceed with the moving of the motion. Then the scheduling can be organized together with the clerk's desk and the Senate Business Committee, but there is no harm in your proposal. So we proceed to have the seconder second that motion.
Madam Speaker, I do second.
Thank you, Senator Manzo. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the debate be now adjourned pursuant to Standing Order 110(1) of the Standing Orders of this House. Honorable Senators, I put the question that the debate be now adjourned pursuant to Standing Order 110(1) of the Standing Orders of this House. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So the debate is now adjourned to a later date, preferably on Tuesday, to be scheduled on Tuesday. Honorable Senators, I'm looking at the order paper, and from order number 25 up to order number 32, the movers are not in the House, and so we are not able to proceed on with them, and we stand down all those orders to a later date, and there is no other business in the order paper. Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, 12th May 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
Yeah, but we'll finish on Tuesday.